Hello folks, welcome back. We have just finished 1942. We are going to enter 1943 early. So we are on this season here. And to recap, we need to get at least 10 not to lose. We need to get 20 to win. And I do have one major update. For those of you still following along and watching, I do have one asterisk. I got one rule wrong. One. I had them all, and I got a rule wrong. Okay, so do you remember the situation where the fighters leave on, let's say, turn 4, like this? So I basically said we can just wait until turn 4 before we enter. And I think one of the recent missions, maybe even the last one, we entered on turn 2. So I delayed one turn for entering. That's 100% correct and accurate. You're allowed to do that, blah, blah, blah. However, it costs a tactical point to do that. So I think we had like 4 tactical points. So if I want to delay to turn 2, that costs me 1. If I want to delay to turn 3, that costs me another. So it's 1 tactical point for every turn that you delay. So that is the key part of the rule that I missed. I did review as many of our videos as I could. I mean, there's a lot of hours of this, and from my memory, I don't recall a single time where I used the tactical points from this board and it helped me. I mean, I know there was one time I was spending tactical points here, and I had, you know, a whole bunch, and I just don't recall. Most of the time, these bombers were killed just from my arrival. There's very few times I actually had a fighter do the kill himself. I can think of 2 times, and in both of those cases, I ended up getting TP from the engine, or I destroyed the plane the first hit. So maybe some of you have a better memory than me, and that's great. If you're keeping track at home, maybe I did not win 1942. Maybe one of my victory points that I claimed was done using a tactical point that I should have spent to do my shenanigans over here. So if any of you know or remember and can help me out with that, let me know. I would like to know if I really did win this 1942 season, or if I have a big asterisk. And you know what? I just find these other seasons so much more fun that if you inform me that I didn't actually win 1942, I'm not going to be heartbroken. But I will tell you that that was the most exciting 1942 I think I've played yet. The fact that I was able to pull it off in that final mission like that, in that fashion, it felt very dramatic, actually. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So anyways, I'm going to stop gushing over my 1942 brilliance, which was all a bunch of luck strung together. And we will go into 1943. So to recap, the victory points basically reset back to 0. But we do get to retain our 10 experience points. So that 10 experience points carries with us into the next mission, into the next season. We have 2 experts that are actually second level experts. They have 2 skills instead of 1. So that's awesome. And then we have 2 experts that died, Freeling and Adamite, which were replaced with Adam and Fike. So that's unfortunate for them. Now, one of the things I recommend doing, because there's a mission 1 for both seasons, is cross a lot of this out so you don't confuse yourself. Also, with your dead experts, you don't get to keep those experience points. So as much as that would be nice, you don't get to do that. Another mistake I always make is, see how I wrote Zeal in here? The Zeal actually goes here. There's actually a separate column for green pilots. I never remember to do that. So this P technically goes there. I actually like this column because we maybe end up using it for notes or whatever. Anyways, I probably should have done all this before I started the video, so I apologize if this is boring. but off we go. We're ready to go. Let's get out our sheet. And I'm excited. We are in the land of rocketry. Okay, 1943 early. What do we unlock? First thing we unlocked is we can get cannons. So that by itself is helpful, especially in the advanced rules, because remember, you get to draw 2 and pick one. And in the basic game, I would always pick the engine one that would have like, let me see if I can find an easy one. There would be these engine ones where you, right here, I got one. Like this was a golden nugget to draw one of these, right? So if I drew one of these that did 0 damage, I would always go for it because that would give me victory points, right? Now I have to do this whole dang pursuit phase, and I may not want him to drop out. You know, I may want to pick a different one that actually does physical damage because destroying them is far more valuable to me. So this cannon is, I'm sorry, let me make sure cannons really are available. Yes, they are. Cannons are this row. I was being a goober. But yes, the cannons are huge. They're very, very huge. Now, what's this row? These are the BF-110s. I do have a love for them. They're not as good as, they're not that great, but they do have their purpose. So, and to get 4 of them for just 1 OP is, pun intended, OP. So what else do we got? 1943 early, we do have the FW-190s. And in the last campaign, I forgot that I had those available. They're very situational, but I like them because I can use them to take out escorts. So if we have a mission where we know we're starting and escorts are pesky, we can use our FW-190s to take the escorts out of the mission for us. So that way everybody else can do their job. Beyond that, the FW-190 doesn't have any advantage over our regular BF-109s as far as taking out bombers go. But they do have a huge advantage in aerial combat. So they actually sometimes will win aerial combat, which is very handy. 1943 early also gives us the bombs, which is the part I'm excited about. And if you recall from my last campaign, I did everything with bombs correctly, except the detonation. I forgot that this detonation, when it leaves the map after the cohesion check, it causes a degradation to the element, meaning that it would either become loose, kaput, or even cause bombers to drop out of formation. That is huge. I played the whole last campaign without remembering or knowing that rule, and I made it a lot harder on myself. So we're definitely taking advantage of that in the advanced rules. The other thing with 1943 is we get a new sheet. Now, I tried to look at it real quick, and the only thing that jumps out at me that's different, like, for example, this is still a 0, that's still a 0, that moved up to a 2. This used to be a 1, so their tail gunning lethality has jumped higher. And then the other thing is that if you look at these tables, the numbers are just harder. This used to be a 4 to 10, now it's a 5 to 10. This was a 9 to 10, now it's just a 10. So like the armor of this is better. This used to be 5, now you need 6 to destroy it. That used to be 8. Here you need 2 hits before the gunner's gone. In the last one, you only needed 1 hit and then the gunner was gone. What's interesting is there's only 1 gunner, and that's this. Everywhere else there's a lethality of 0. So that's the differences I'm noticing. So it's not a huge change, but they're going to be a little harder to take out. So I know I say it a lot, but without further ado, let's get going. So I have 4 experts still alive. They are sorted here. Or no, I don't have 4. Yes, I have 4. Grimm is out and Bauer is out. So there we go. It's these 4 are experts. I have 2 that have been helping out, 2 veterans that I'm trying to get into expert status. So they each have some experience points, but these are my 4 experts, and so I like keeping them separate from the rest of my pile. And then these are my 2 greeny guys that I'm trying not to use because I don't want them to die. So I just have them hiding behind my tin cups here. Okay, 1943, early. First thing you'll notice, map 3 is a potential. We do not want map 3. Map 3 is glorious because there's so many bombers to destroy, but we don't want them until later. Map 2 is our bread and butter. And then if we can get a map 1, that's actually really nice. But bear in mind, if we get map 1, we cannot use bombs. Bombs are not available to us on map 1. The difference is we're going to get a lot more OP. So if we do get map 1, there will be a lot of fighters trying to take out those itty bitty, bomber formations, and we can tear them apart. Absolutely tear them apart. So that's the reason map 1 is glorious. Map 2 is our sweet spot. So we're happy with map 2. We can do some really good stuff with map 1. Map 3 we don't want. Inbound is always good because you get 2 victory points instead of 1. Everywhere else doesn't really matter, except the one thing to note is that the outbound gives you more OP. The near target actually gives you the least. So we probably don't want near target. The only thing near target does is that you can potentially have no escorts at all. If you do get inbound, you probably want to get high level where the escorts leave early on turn 3. And then, of course, if you're outbound, if they don't arrive until turn 9, I mean, you basically did everything you need to do. These are all light formations. This one's still a Spitfire, but a lot of these are now the P-47s. I think that's what they are. Yeah, P-47 Thunderbolts. So we are going to see a different type of plane for the most part, but there will be Spitfires from time to time. Okay, enough rambling. Let's go. Let's see what map we're going to do. We're going to do 4. So that is map number 2. So let's get that in. And now we're going to decide if we're inbound, outbound. This is a 6-mission season. And that's a 7. We're outbound. I am sitting on 10 experience points, and I'm not at this point. With it being the very first mission of the season, I just want to see how it goes. We'll start spending experience points when we have opportunistic moments here. Like this one, 16 is way better than 8. So let's see how this goes. We definitely want a high number. I got a 3. Oh, I'm being put to the test already. 3 gives us 8 OP. Yeah, we're going to do it. Man, oh man. So I'm going to just write -7, tiny there. I'll know what that means. But we're giving ourselves 16 OP. I want to dominate this map. So map 2 is already out in front of us. Let's get off to a great start. For sure, I want my 4 experts. So that's going to be 4 OP right there. I want the BF-110s, which are 1 OP for 4. So there's 1. And I'm going to get the other BF-110 group for 2. The bombs are 2 OP for 4. So it's these tokens here. So I'm just going to put 1 token on them because I'm flying them together as a group. So that would be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 OP so far spent. Now, the cannons are something I also like. It's 1 OP for 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I do want to give them to my experts. So 1, 2, 3. So what did I say? It was 10, and then this is another 1 for 11. So I'm going to get 3 more cannons. That would be 12. And then I'll get these 2 for 13, 14. So I'm looking at, just want to make sure, this is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can get 2 more guys. So what I'm going to do is I'll just bring in, I can get 2 FW190s actually. See, this is now where it's very important that I spend my OPs before I know what my escorts look like. Because if the escorts are going to be with us for a long time, I don't get to know that information before I decide if I'm going to buy an FW190. Now, the thing with the FW190 is it's 1 for 1. So they're just as expensive as the BF109s. One thing I will mention is GMT announced Storms Over the Reich is coming. And that's basically going to be a companion sister game with almost identical rules to this. Obviously, the formation maps will be different because it won't be B-17s. It's going to be, I think, the B-24s. But it's going to focus on the FW-190s. And you can actually merge the 2 games together. So we will actually have named pilots for the FW-190s with that set, just like we have named BF-109s here. And I find that to be very exciting because these FW190s are a little lackluster on this game, and they're so darn expensive. But if they're named pilots, just like these, now we're talking. So that'll be fun. But for now, we have to make do. And I am talking about getting 2 FW190s out to help out. That's what I'm trying to decide. The FW190s can have a cannon, a rocket, or a bomb. So the important point here is the FW190s can help, just like a BF109. They can still attack bombers and do stuff. So it's not a complete waste to get them. And the only thing I'm debating right now is, do I get those or do I get like 2 more of my name pilots and try to get experience points for them? See, I'm always optimistic. I always think I'm going to get experience points. And in reality, I get them killed. So I don't know which one's the better route. I think it would be nice to get the experience points, but I'm leaning towards getting some FW190s. So I'm going to get 2 of them, and we'll add them to the mix. And so that's our 16 OP. Okay, so sorry I spent a lot of time on that, but that's part of the decision-making fun of this game. So let's get our final roll in, and we're going to go after these escorts. And I got a 6, which is a good roll. A 6 gets us into this column here. It's L7P. So we're no longer doing the Spitfires. We're going to do these guys. So I'm going to just take 2 of them out because it's a light formation. And what this is saying is, since it's an outbound mission, they will not arrive until turn 7. So that's a lot of carnage opportunity there. So those FW190s probably weren't the right decision in this situation, excuse me, but if you recall, I always send somebody evasive mode so I can get Schwarm, and what a perfect guinea pig to send to get Schwarm with. So they can still help me immensely. Okay, back to this regularly scheduled program. I have everything out. Let's put this away. I know I'm 19 minutes in and I still haven't even started the mission. We are on map 2, outbound, page 11. Okay, I'm going to just start using this die up here. We're going to roll for damage. I rolled a 10. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. My goodness. All right. So I'm just going to go down this side and then down that side. Or no, I'll just do it by group. So these 2 are both taking a hit. So let's see. The first one gets that. Second one gets that. And then this group up here is the lead bomber, and that one's the lead bomber. So we're gonna put that on the lead, and this one on the lead. And then this last group is these two again. So, holy damage, Batman. Okay, lots of rolling here, so we'll just go one at a time. Start with that one. Nothing happens. Flip, flip. This 4 damage on the wing is huge. Okay, I rolled a 6. This needed a 9. So there's 3 damage there. I rolled a 4. There's 3 damage there. And now we got these two. Need a 10. Oh. And then the last one needs an 8. And that one happens. So this one's fallen, and we don't get any experience or anything for it. But it does help. It makes that a 3, so this is already a nice juicy group to go after. Okay, anchored. Gonna roll 5, and we're gonna get a low. So its tail low is anchored, which is a little troublesome because since there were no escorts, obviously we can avoid that and go around it, but when we return, we always have to climb. We can never dive to the tail for that reason. So now we'll do sun. I rolled a 7. The sun is high flank. I don't mind that at all. And then we're going to do tactical points. A 7 is a good number. We get 3. So it wasn't that much. Okay, and then a 2 for flight limit. That is bad, very bad. Look at it, 6. So the flight limit is actually going to end before the escorts even arrive. So we're not going to experience the escorts this game. They're completely out of this mission. And that's funny, I got 2 FW-190s. But that's okay, we'll still use them. And we'll use them and abuse them. Let's just not lose them. How about that? Okay, so we are 22 minutes in. I'm getting ready to start turn 1. Remember the rules, these bombs and these fighters, they have ammunition just like everybody else. But if they go determined mode, they get a +1 to the lethality level. That's what that +1 means. But if they go evasive, there is no +1. So these BF-110s are still useful as long as you go evasive. We have the sun, which gives us a big bonus for evasive attacks. So that's something we definitely want to use. But the bombs themselves are very magical. They're also over a 50% chance that they're going to completely miss. So we do have that concern, but the BF-110s are better at using the bombs than the BF-109s or the FW-190s. I don't even know if they could carry bombs, but if they can, the BF-110s have the best chance of succeeding. I do like using them. They're not as good as rockets, and I think somebody even commented on Board Game Geek that historically they were an experiment that was not as good as these other options, and I think this game does an awesome job of demonstrating that. But they are better than just nothing at all. So I am now 24 minutes in. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and start a fresh video. And thank you for watching. Oh, I got one last thing. Folks asked me about my gaming table. I'm going to back up here. I did not clean, so bear with me, but I have, this is my gaming table going all the way across. This is actually one of those Geek Chic tables that you probably heard of that is no longer in business. I believe the model was the Vizier. This one's custom made. I did some stuff to it, but this top actually comes off, and I have unconditional surrender set up underneath this, and I also have Imperial Salt and Sword and Sorcery down there as well. I have like 3 games set up underneath here. And then of course, everything folds out. I have a drawer. There's all kinds of gadgets and doodads. So thank you for your interest. And this is a wonderful table. I use it just about every day. I love board gaming. And what a great time to be a board gamer. So anyways, thank you for watching, and we'll get started.